Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Monday's Wealth Creation Show. Now, Jim, we're live from Miami. Miami Beach, I take it you're on at the moment?
Absolutely. It's absolutely glorious out here. I mean, here it's 7:30. The sun's just come up over there. So you can see it in the background, the sun's just coming up. But it's 28 degrees. And you can see the reaction lenses. But this is the morning. This is a Monday morning, lads. Okay, guys out there, this is a Monday morning. Where are you on Monday morning? That's the key. What are you doing on Monday morning? Do you have that Monday morning feeling? Because I tell you what, that Monday morning feeling could be a Friday night feeling every single day. This is what we teach. Most people know how to make lots of money. Some people don't, obviously, but, listen in and you'll find out why or how. But most people know how to make lots of money. And that's fine. But most people do not have time to enjoy that money. That's why this beach is absolutely empty. Yeah. Could you imagine on the beaches of the world, you can go anywhere in the world and you still have the income and the time to enjoy it. And that's called breaking out the time and money equation. So most people, myself included in the past, I followed a pattern of time versus money. That was my system. That's what everybody is taught. That's what we're taught at school, isn't it? We're taught that every time at school, Richard, aren't we? Time equals money. It's a saying that everybody talks about every single time. But this is all about breaking out of that time versus money equation. To make sure that you can do anything you ever want, anywhere you want, in the world, at any time, and you no longer need to rely on the money. Because the money keeps flowing regardless of what you do. It is no longer relying on your ability to perform. So we've got to be running workshops, Richard, at some point in the future.
Yep.
To teach people this. This is a free workshop. We're running free workshops. Interest is transparency, though. I would point out to everybody that at some point, some people might want to use our services, and that's okay. But we'll show people how to break out of time versus money. See these footprints that I've just got in the sand there?
Yeah.
Now, it's so significant. The footprints in the sand represent the path that you should tread in order to get where I am. Sometimes the sea comes and washes them away. But if you've got a financial freedom blueprint that makes sure these footprints can go back in place, you know every single time how to lead somebody and teach someone else to get to where they want to go faster than any time before, because that path has already been trodden. So, Richard.
Yes.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this journey. Let's talk about how. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't like to talk about myself, to be honest.
I know you don't. Really? I know. But
in the interest of transparency, you have to talk about yourself in order to let people. I mean, I wouldn't use the word convince people that this works, because I don't need to convince anybody, because it makes no difference to me what anybody else does with their time and their money as well. It makes absolutely no difference. It will not affect me in one little bit. But the most important point is, how many people have I got here with me? Yeah. There's nobody here. Why are you not here with me, Richard? Why? And we talked about that, didn't we? At some point in time, where I hire an island and then I'll be bringing people with me, definitely. But that's it. That's what we teach every single time. And I don't think people realise, because we're sitting on we're a small business. It looks like that to everybody, but they don't understand the powerful systems we've got in place. It allows people to break out of that time and money equation. And it's purposely because we don't flaunt it. We don't. I've got no Lamborghini Hurricanes. I've got no airs or graces about anything. Yes, I'm on Miami Beach. Yes, I'm going on a cruise. Yes, I'm going to Necker Island next. And for some people, I've been hearing people say, "Wow, enjoy paradise." And I'm like, really? Because for me, that's just quite normal now. You could do that anytime you want, but we can teach other people to do that, and I can purposely teach people to do that as well, because you can teach people to do it if you've done it yourself, because you now know the pattern for success. You now have the financial freedom blueprint. And it doesn't necessarily need to be property. It could be anything. and the systems that we teach is applicable to everything. Hence the reason why my career accelerated so much when I became a trainee accountant and I got involved with my mentors, and I still run that system that they taught me today with myself and with other people as well. And even if it's not applicable to property, it's applicable to your career. Well, there's no surprise, Richard. It's like in 10 years you became Lettings Director from a standing start. What does that tell you?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and I think what you talk about there brings me on nicely to the first thing I was going to ask you today. And I know you're saying obviously you don't like talking about yourself. People might think of, really, Jim? But and looking at your social media, people that are watching follow your social media over the weekend, and they must think, God, Jim's away, like you say, away to paradise, living obviously, living it up and all the rest of it. And that's fine. At this point in your life, you're doing these things. But I think it's important that we rewind just a wee bit and look back at how you actually got to where you are and how it's been a really up and down journey, and it's been over a long period of time. I mean, it didn't just happen overnight. You didn't just get to where you are without slogging through and implementing all these things that you're talking about to be successful. Yeah.
Success.
So yeah,
Well,
I mean, can we rewind a wee bit?
Success is a journey. It's not really a destination. I always say that to myself, and you know, when people say, "Your God, it's amazing, you're so successful," it's like, am I really successful? You know, because I have the same problems as everybody else. I have family. I have finances. I have a business to run. I have my own mental well-being to look after. I have my health to look after as well. So I have all these things that everybody else, all these issues that everybody else has as well. So when you say successful, it's often quite difficult for me to say, yeah, of course I'm a real success. It's like no one's like that. I'll guarantee you, Richard Branson's even got problems. And that's because he's just got bigger problems, that's all. Or let's call them bigger challenges.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, money doesn't solve problems. It just, if you've got money, it doesn't mean you don't have problems. It's just how you deal with them and how you tackle them. And that's the most important thing, to do it properly, rather than just think, oh, people with money don't have problems, which is so untrue.
I remember Bill O'Brien telling me. Now I've talked about Bill O'Brien before, but Bill O'Brien was the head of the project to put the Viking probe on Mars way back, I think in the 70s or 80s. So this is Bill O'Brien. It was one of my mentors, and he was the head of the Viking probe project to put the Viking probe on Mars at Martin Marietta, which is the huge aerospace division. And he always, and I always laugh. I laugh at this, what he said. He used to say, Jim, if you've got a problem, there's nothing that solves it better than beating it to death with a bag of money. Typical American, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, money does help alleviate certain situations and things. Obviously, that's a given. But I mean, in terms of where you are just now, Jim, and obviously you're on this. I'm not going to. I've been calling it an adventure because it is for you, and it's something that. I mean, did you have this? Was this in your pipeline of dreams? Where you are right now, did you always expect you'd be standing on a beach and obviously like you are just now, or is it just a byproduct of what you just done on a day-to-day to get to where you wanted to be?
Yeah, this is one of my ultimate goals. Actually, to be on Necker Island. You know, and Miami is just a warm up. I know that sounds daft. It's like, yeah, I really didn't want to be at Necker Island with jet lag. So, and for that reason, I thought I'm going to take a week before I arrive there, just to get over the jet lag and get into the time zone here, in order to embrace the full experience of being there.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing right now is a warm up gig, and I tell you what, I said to Elaine the other day, I says, God, could you actually believe that we, you know, from going from, you know, effectively raking in the ashtrays looking for fag dipes to roll up cigarettes, homeless, unemployed, to here.
Mhm.
and then to where I go next. It's like unbelievable when you look at it like that. But it was blood, sweat, and tears that we took in order to do this. You know, and
Yeah,
it was a, it was
yeah,
a
and
it was a
I
it
think
was a
it's
common goal
important
for both of us.
for everybody to
You know, well,
remember that.
was it well was it a common goal? Probably wasn't a common goal. It was just my aspiration in order to do that. But I had a brilliant support person in the background that always supported me, and that was Elaine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's important for people to remember that you are in charge of your own future and destiny. It's how you apply yourself and what you do, and the people you listen to, and the path you take, and the people supporting you, like you say, are all important key factors in order for you to be where you want to be, or to be able to get through that journey. Because the journey to anywhere, and especially obviously if you're trying to seek maybe financial freedom or financial security in retirement and things like that, it comes with its challenges along the way, and whether that's mentally, financially, and it pays to have good people around you and a good support network and a good knowledge and thought process in order to get you through that. And the day-to-day things quite we looked at the charts a couple of weeks ago, and they keep resonating in my mind, because it's like every day you're up and down, and that is most people. But you really need to think of the bigger picture and how that then eventually evens out over time. And you actually think, God, I know I've been pushing myself on a day-to-day basis and maybe feeling a bit burnt out, but really in the grand scheme of things, I am making progress and I am getting there. And that's what people need to keep in their mind as well, is to keep that positive mindset.
I can't disagree with that at all. To go back to about the supportive partners,
Yeah.
if you've got someone in your group of people who have an exceptional determination and desire, you better nurture that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell you what, for your partner in life, you can either build them up or tear them down. But if you build them up, you'll enjoy all the riches that this person brings as well. If you tear them down, you'll enjoy all the things that come with that as well. So you can either build them up or tear them down, and you'll do one or the other. So having a supportive partner is probably the most important thing. If not, actually being I don't know about the equals thing. You know, it's like, oh, we're equal and all the rest. No, we're no equal. We all have different strengths. We all have different weaknesses in terms of what we do. We're never, ever going to be equal. Just accept it. Stop listening to TikTok and stop listening to Instagram about what they say. They have no idea. They've probably never lived a life at all. They've probably got no experience. They've got no wisdom or anything like that at all. They've listened to someone, they've read a book, and they think they know everything. And then everybody follows them as a result. Influencers, they're called.
Yeah, it's all too often we see people in different partnerships and things, and they're struggling because they're tearing each other down, and it's just, and instead of supporting each other, and they're more than, I mean, 9 times out of 10, there's always one more kind of person in a relationship who takes the lead, and you should then facilitate and allow them to do that, because they're the ones that's going to take you to the next stage or the next part of
Yeah.
your journey. And it is always important to
It's no easy. It's not easy for authoritative people to take a back seat.
mhm.
You know, to somebody that's always been in charge all their life, or they've maybe had a mother and father, especially a father that's probably been in charge and probably been quite controlling. And they end up seeing that as their mirror when they grow up. And they end up being like that as well. So when they go into a relationship with someone else, this is relationship counselling. I told you, we talked about this last week, but this is important. This is the key here.
That's really important.
Relationships are everything. So when they go into a relationship with another person, this other person's never grown up like them. So they have no idea this is the way. I mean, they've maybe come from, this is Muscle Beach, by the way, right here. This is where everybody pumps iron. It's just opening up just now. But this is literally Muscle Beach right now.
Is that where they've got like the
yeah, that's all the containers.
Right,
That's all the containers with everything. And the guys, so the park ranger at Miami Beach is actually getting this open right now. There's the guys at the back and everything. Obviously,
right.
they probably can't get the door open for the weights. Everybody's waiting to pump iron. But this is the famous Muscle Beach that you see in all these
Yeah.
films in Miami when they come along the boardwalk at the front, and then they come on here and everybody's pumping iron in the background. This is where actually the world's strongest man's held sometimes,
Oh,
in this bit here. Yeah. So this is where it is, and there's the Ocean Drive. We'll see some of these buildings in a minute as we walk past. It'd be a shame not to let anybody see that.
Yeah,
When
it looks
especially when
rather.
we're walking down here.
That's it. I mean, what time is it there, Jim? Just confirm, because obviously,
It's 7:45.
so it's still early.
Quarter to 8, everybody's quiet. Right, okay, let's go back to relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships probably the most important thing. You've grown up with an authoritative parent, so that's all you've known, and that's all you've been taught how to do and how to be. That's effectively how I grew up.
Mhm.
Whereas Elaine grew up in an environment whereas it doesn't matter what you do, we'll love you regardless.
Yeah.
Whereas I grew up in an environment, if you get results, we'll love you. It's like, really? But
Right.
that's not my mother and father's fault. That's my mother's father. It was like that as well with her. So my mother was like that with me. It was, we come back with 95% or 95% in an exam, even at primary or even in high school. And my mum would go, what happened to the other 5%?
Mhm.
It's like, no, congratulations. You've got 95%. You've probably excelled way beyond everybody else, and you've done the best that you can do possible. What happened to the other 5%? That's the environment I grew up in. Very competitive.
I was going to say that's quite
I had
competitive.
3 other siblings. Yeah, I had 3 other siblings. I had my sister and my 2 brothers, Colin and David. So we were extremely competitive, and I was extremely competitive with David, and David with me because we were so close, like 2 years apart.
Mhm.
So we were the ones that competed against each other, and I always took back seat to him because I never really wanted to fight with him all the time. I suppose. So that's the environment I grew up in. So for people out there, think about the environment and the mirror that you first had when you were younger. And I mean the mirror. In other words, your mother and your father was usually the mirror, and or your grandparents or something like that. That's what you saw. That's how you grew up. That's what you thought you were meant to do when you found your life partner, or when you had relationships with other people. This is how you thought you were meant to act. But remember, that other person didn't see that. They didn't grow up in your environment. They didn't see
Mhm.
what you saw. They probably grew up in a completely different environment, like we talked about Elaine, and
Yeah.
the fact that it was loving and nurturing, and regardless of what happens, we'll always love you. So you could see how there's a bit of conflict there straight away when
Yeah.
I come into a relationship, we have children, and then the next minute it's like I'm very competitive with them, why same sort of thing,
Yeah.
and then Elaine's like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? It's like, look, love and nurture regardless.
Yeah.
It's not about results, but luckily enough, my mentors were able to teach me all that. I was able to learn all that. That is one of the key fundamentals and the keys to the vault in order to understand the relationships and how you interact with other people and understand yourself more importantly. If more people focused on themselves and getting themselves right first before they started focusing on getting
Trying to
someone else
help
right,
with it. Yeah.
we'd have a lot better
It's
world.
like the life
I'll
jacket
tell
on
you.
the plane thing. Help yourself first.
Yeah. As soon as the life jacket, as soon as you get into the life jacket, as soon as the oxygen mask comes down, first thing you should be doing straight away is putting your own one on before you can help someone else.
Yeah.
Most people go to help someone else.
Yeah.
And they don't realise by running to help someone else and not themselves, they're not actually helping the situation at all. They're making it worse more than likely. So, and this is why people split up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all part of, so-called success, what people call success.
Yeah, so I think there's a big part of understanding yourself and others, and then I
I'm
think
taking the cue
change.
from
Oh, hi.
I'm taking the cue from Elaine.
Hi,
She's telling
Elaine.
me where to go. She's ducking.
Is that your guide?
Right, you want to tell me where to go next. Right, okay. We're just walking
no.
along. She's walking along, and I'm walking at the back of her.
Yeah. So and I think to embrace change and within yourself, if you need to do that, like you're saying, obviously you've got that competitive edge and things, but then I think it's fair to say if you're saying like obviously the two different upbringings and to kind of marry that together, because both of them together could combine to be quite a good thing as long as it's done properly.
Yeah.
So
Opposites attract. Remember that. Opposites attract.
Yes.
You will be attracted to the person that's probably got all the strength that you don't have, because that's what you admire in them the most.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You should embrace that. When you both become the same personalities and the same traits, that's when your marriage is on the rocks or your partnership's on the rocks as well. for that
Yeah.
very reason, because nobody wants to be the same. You play on each other's strengths and you embrace each other's strengths and you celebrate each other's strengths and you help each other's weaknesses.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's where you're successful in a relationship, as opposed to tearing each other down and then building up resentment to each other and things like. I mean, you see that and hear that quite a lot, and that's like ultimately how you say. And I think to relate this back to um, success and financial freedom and all the rest of it, if you don't have somebody supporting you at that level, you're never going to be successful in your professional life.
No, you'll never be
Or as
successful in
successful as you
anything
could
at
be.
all. You'll constantly have, it's like having a monkey on your back.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you're carrying this all the time. I mean, never mind the fact that you have to carry your own monkey in your head. You know,
Yeah.
the fact that all these things that you got wrong, you torment yourself with all the time on your journey to your success, whatever that success may be. Because everybody has them. Remember, they have to deal with them. They're ghosts and they're gremlins and everything that they're chimp. You know, if you've ever had the chimp paradox, you'll
Yeah.
understand what I'm talking about. So your
Monkey on
chimp.
your shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, so your monkey on your back is basically getting at you all the time and niggling at your head and saying, what makes you think you're so special. You get imposter syndrome as a result. And
Hmm.
even worse, you've got your partner doing it now. It's like, what? It's like, okay, hey, I don't need you to do it. I do it enough to
Do it
myself.
to myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
need you to do it. It's like when Elaine tells me some things, because we still have this. Elaine sometimes tells me things, and we're like, I told you so. And it's like, hey, I didn't need you to tell me. I've already told myself. I've already beat myself about it. I beat
Yeah.
myself up about it already. So I don't need anybody else to beat me up about it.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, relationships are a key factor, I think, as we've just demonstrated, and we've spoke about that previously as well, Jim. And I think when I mean, we've not got a great amount of time to go into depth about things. We did talk about your journey prior to where you are today, and we actually done the mini series within the Wealth Creation Show, and you could get that on the YouTube channel. I think it was about 7 episodes, Jim. Your property, the Diary of a Property Investor. So I mean, people that are watching could refer back to those episodes, and that really breaks down your journey from the beginning right to where you were when we done it just earlier in the year. So that's really good to refer back to if guys are really wanting a wee bit more insight into your journey, because we can't delve into it bit by bit today, all in one. What I did really want you to cover is, obviously you're on this adventure. You've been in Miami since Saturday. You're obviously, the goal for this is to get to Necker next week, or is it Saturday this week you get there?
I've no idea. I just take every day as it comes.
Anyway,
Honestly,
so
it's like I just think about what I need to do today,
yes.
and then I've kind of got an idea about what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow. But in the meantime, this is all about, I talked about this morning in my blog about
Hmm.
how it's important and urgent, and that's crisis management. That's where you
Yeah.
shouldn't be all the time, and how it's important but not urgent, and that's what you need to deal with, because the important and not urgent stuff means that you're planning so it doesn't become crisis management. And then this
Correct.
morning I spoke about how it's not important, but it's urgent. And that's people interrupting you on the phone while you're actually speaking to someone else, or
Yeah.
interrupting your emails. And you should actually get someone else to do that and delegate it. And then how also when it becomes not important and not urgent either. And that stuff you should just no bother about at all. Or just get around to it when you can, or just say no to people for
Yeah.
the
The word
not
no
important
is
and
a
not urgent. There is no point. You're wasting your time. This is the zone that people have. It's called management zone. It's like, I've got
yeah.
nothing else to do, so I tell you what, I'm going to be palsy wowsy with somebody that phones me up and just asks for my time to go and pitch some idea to me.
Hmm.
That's the sort of thing you want to try and avoid, because that's just going to eat up all your time where you could have been very, very productive with it. But people do not want to be productive sometimes because it's the uncomfortable they've got to be in to do it.
Yeah.
We've all been through it, haven't we, Richard?
Yeah, and we spent a couple of days in training last week, Jim, and I think a lot of what it was it's a big learning curve for anybody to go with things like that. It did reinforce a lot of what you already practice and know, and myself, but it really got us thinking about a lot of things. We had a lot of it brings you into different discussions about, we were talking about crisis management and time management and how obviously we know that outsourcing and getting people to do things and delegate is important, but you really need to take it to the next level when you want to be successful in what you're doing.
As soon as you start saying to yourself, I need to get round to that,
Yeah,
you need to do it there and then. You need to just
yeah,
get round to it. If you keep saying to yourself, you need to get round to it, that is probably the important but not urgent. And
yes,
it's the important and not urgent, and the things you need to get round to doing is the stuff that will avoid you having important and urgent, the crisis management bit.
yeah,
Prevention's better than cure.
yeah, definitely. I think it's all too easy to keep thinking about things and procrastinate and think, well, I'll get to that and I need to do that. And that's a big no-no, because it's obviously something that, like you say, it's important and it needs to be dealt with, but and it is all crisis management. And prevention is key, because then you'll get to a point where you've put something off, and then you get to a point where it needs done like immediately, and you don't have the time because you've got something else that's more important to deal with at that time.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So that's all important factors, and like I say, a lot of what we were covering last week in training has brought us to kind of rethink a lot of things, and it's good to do that and keep your mind from going stagnant.
We'll call it
And
muscle beach.
yeah, I'm
It's
going to
like
just
this boy's built like a British shit house. Honestly, it's like, oh my god, we're coming across another bit as well in here. Look, here it is here.
let's see.
Memories pump iron.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There's a really famous film that's well, there's a few films that's on.
That's
But there's
Arnold
one,
Schwarzenegger, pumping iron. Yeah.
right, yeah. So yeah, so
Amazing. You could easily. Elaine says we saw an open house. You know, in America they have open houses
yeah,
where you go and look at a property. And Elaine says, "Oh, look, there's an open house." It's like, yeah, that's where you can go and look at the property. She says, "Let's go in." I went, "Let's not, because I'll end up buying something." Because it's like you can just fall in love with this place, this lifestyle. Imagine getting up to this every single morning, and just it's literally just paradise at Miami South Beach.
yeah. That kind of. I was going to actually say to you, and people watching might wonder, um, what does it mean to you, Jim, to be there and to be where you're going and next week or the end of this week or whatever, and what does it mean to you and both well you and Elaine and things in terms of where you were and where you are now, and just yeah, give us a wee bit of
For me, I expected to go here. I
yeah.
expected to at some point in time be going where I'm going. It was
Hmm.
just it's a natural. So everybody, I mean, even Elaine goes, "Are you excited?" It's like, "Oh, we're excited." And I'm like, "No, I just expected it." Because I had dreamed it all the
Yeah.
time. I'd tasted it. I had thought about it. I had imagined it. I had looked at pictures about it. And at some point in time, I said, I just saw myself lying on that beach.
Hmm.
And I posted the other day the beach, a picture of the beach again. I went, next week I'll be lying on that beach. So I expect to get there. I have a huge expectation of myself, but then that could also be a real difficulty to manage. Having that huge high expectation of yourself all the time, having high standards. So when you get like that, you've got to give yourself a breather. You've got to give
Hmm.
yourself some slack. If you don't give yourself some slack, you'll destroy yourself. That's what leads to depression overall. You know,
Yeah.
that leads to mental breakdowns because people become so much driven, but they don't actually hit their goals, and then they see everybody else round about them hitting that goal that they wanted to hit, and then they become well, you either become bitter, better, or quit. That's the three things in everything: bitter, better, quit. So if you're bitter, are you going to get better, or are you just going to quit? If
Yeah.
you're better, fantastic. And if you're quitting, well, quitters never win, do they? You could run a race and get to the 100-meter race, and you can get to the 99 meters, 99 point, and pull up short at the finish line. You've still not won. I'm amazed at how many people actually do that in life.
Hmm.
They just they're almost at the finish line, and I can see it, but they just can't see it for themselves. No, I tell you what, Richard, how many really exceptional estate agents we've had, how many really exceptional letting agents, how many administrators and all the rest that we've had and I've seen the ability in them that they had and the potential to be
Yeah.
extremely successful at what they do and have a fantastic career, and they just don't see it for themselves.
No.
They just don't see it. And I'll be honest, I'm not here to convince them. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. It will make no difference what I say. And the classic is, the classic is a lot of employers and, a lot of people go, let's throw more money at them. It's like, let's not, because that's
No,
not
it's
going to
not the
solve
answer.
anything. Because it's well known that you can give everybody all the money in the world, but at some point in time, they'll be upset in their lives because the money's not going to solve it. I mean, as I said before, it can help, but it's all up here.
Yeah.
So the money's not going to solve an issue up here. It has to be something else that solves that. And it could be people that are in crisis management. It could be people that are in debt up to their eyeballs. It's like when you're up to debt, when you're up to the eyeballs in debt, what's caused that problem is the way you live and what you've been doing and how you've been handling yourself. So all that happens is when you throw money at like that at somebody, it's up to their eyeballs in debt. Guess what? They just go up another level and they're
They just
starting to
went
live
another
in,
level.
and they're still up to their eyeballs in debt.
Yeah,
They just
definitely.
buy more expensive stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that all too often, and it's true what you say, and we've seen a lot of good people over the years come and go, but the important thing is, and I think people need to realize, is that everyone, no matter what role or what you do, everybody has their strengths. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has their strengths within a role. Whether somebody's really good with people, or somebody's really good doing on the phone, or do you know, or somebody's really good at sales, or somebody's really, do you know, find what you're good at, and
Yeah,
really spend all your time concentrating on that. And when you excel in that within your role, the money will follow as a byproduct because you're amazing at what you do.
yeah. Lean into
Yeah.
it, and start learning how to monetize it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely the key, and I think a lot of people don't have that realization. And to be fair, you really need to know the right people and speak to the right people and learn for the right people to have that knowledge to know that. And I only know that through avenues of picking up knowledge through the years for yourself and obviously other individuals. You're going to give us a look round the square wherever you're.
Yeah, this is Ocean Drive. This is it. This is where everybody comes down in the Lamborghinis and drives down here. Look at these buildings all the way down there, all the Art Deco.
I was just going to say it's like Art Deco in Miami. That's all they
They're
need to.
absolutely beautiful. It's like Elaine says, and she's right. It's like something out of Back to the Future. When you see the Art Deco cafes,
Yeah.
that's effectively what you're seeing. See the Fritz?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful building. And then you've got TGI's across there. Look at that building.
Hmm.
I mean, for somebody that's in real estate, it's like, wow, this is a
Yeah.
this is just a feast for the eyes
Yeah, I think
in
because
terms of
you,
what
you
you can
tend to
see.
appreciate the buildings and architecture and everything
I mean, look
a
at
lot more.
the jalapeno. That is
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. Look at the curvatures on these and the lines
Hmm.
and the architecture. It is
And you've
it
got,
is absolutely beautiful.
yeah, the small windows as well. It's all Art Deco styling.
Yeah, and everything here is aluminium windows, and the reason it's aluminium windows is because
It can move.
it's the heat. You can't
I
put
can
you
also
you see in here through the aluminium is actually to keep the temperature down.
right.
So it's one of the mechanisms we use.
Aluminium's quite a I'm not going to say expandable, but it could move in terms of other metals. It's not as rigid, so it's
Yeah,
got that freedom. Yeah,
there's the Miami Beach.
thing. Yeah,
That's like going to rewind and standing in
yeah.
rewind. It's like our Glastonbury at the back. It's the Miami Beach on Ocean Drive. But literally, there's still nobody here. I think everybody gets up here around about 9 or 10 o'clock. So there's no great urgency,
Uh-huh.
there's hardly anybody here at all, and everybody's running and enjoying themselves and walking along the beach and just cycling. I even saw a guy like sleeping in a hammock in between two trees in the bushes. That's like, I mean, it's like, that's a different level
I
in
was going
terms
to
of,
say
yeah,
there is a lot of runners and cyclists and things being passing you since you're out. But obviously, it's what people must do. Obviously, you're by the sea and things as well.
yeah,
See,
definitely.
from your point of view, Jim, and like if you were thinking ahead, does this? I mean, you've worked for a lot of years and put a lot of time in and missed out or skipped out on a lot of holidays and time off to build your, I'll say, your empire as such. Do you know what I mean? And now you're at this stage in life where you are where you are, and I mean, is this how you see your future? Although you're going to still be involved in your business, I know that, but are you going to start making time to do things like you are just now? Maybe not on Necker Island every year, but do you know what I mean?
Never say never about Necker Island
Well,
every year. You never know. I don't genuinely I don't know where anything's going to take me at this point in time. But I just keep doing what I do.
yeah,
And we'll just keep doing what we do, and at some point in time, I'll have the complete faith in myself that something else will appear, and it's probably I've never seen it ever before in my life. We're just gonna stop. You could talk amongst yourselves now, but we're just gonna stop for 2 minutes till I take these earphones out and get a picture taken with the Miami Beach sign. Okay?
yeah, no bother. So yeah, well, while Jim's doing that, I think like I was trying to just point out there, it's important to remember that people might look
Thank you.
at social media and things and think, oh, you've got all, but there's
Here
a
we go.
journey involved in that to get there, and that's what we're trying to reinforce, and that there's the right people to learn from and the right people to listen to, in order to get yourself in the right mindset and have the right people around you in order to be successful and achieve goals like what we're watching today.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's a couple sitting on the balcony up the top of Bentley's. Yeah, Bentley's Club. Look right at the back of me. Put it bigger, and
Yeah,
I'll show you right there. Right there.
yeah, I see
You
that.
see
Yeah,
that? You see
yeah,
them?
yeah, I
Just
see them.
there. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh my God. And they're looking right across there on the beach, right across these trees and everything, just enjoying themselves, having their breakfast.
yeah,
I mean, that is amazing. That's a lifestyle, isn't it?
yeah. That's a lifestyle that I'm sure everybody would be happy to live. So for people watching Jim, and I think there'll be a lot of people in the mindset that, oh, maybe I like and doubt and fear and things, and people think I'll never achieve that, I'll never be there, I could never do that. I mean, can anybody watching, can they really have it all? Can they do it? Can they be successful? I mean, where does it lie? Does it all lie with the person, or does it lie with well, you give us a bit of an insight.
I think everybody can have it all. I
Yeah.
think everybody can have anything they ever want. They've just got to find a way to get it, and it's
Mhm.
having the right people round about you to get it. But it's also realizing that it's okay if you fall short, because you're probably going to fall short a lot further forward than you are right now.
Yeah,
But we talk about this all the time.
we do.
It's
Yeah,
like, how we're not doing this, how we're not getting that, how we're not getting this result, how we're not getting that result. And then we go back to when we first started in 2006. And when I first started in 2006, we had nothing.
Mhm.
Zero, zilch, in terms of estate agency. But also when I first started, when I was homeless and unemployed, for example, I had nothing. It was just Elaine and I. We just had the two of us. We had
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. And that was our early 20s. So how if I could do it, surely, and if I could do it and I've done it, surely I can show other people to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm a great believer in that. You can only teach what you've done yourself. And that's like, well, classic example of that is a lot of people actually give other people financial advice. And then you kind of look over at them and think to yourself, but
Where are you financially?
you're unemployed, aye. You're unemployed and you're broke and you're up to eyeballs in credit and debt. And you're trying to tell me how to sort my life out.
Mhm.
It's like that with relationships as well. It's like you always notice, and and some people are not going to like what I'm about to say, but always notice that people that split up with other people, and they go and they start castigating them.
Yeah.
Their group of friends round about them, guess what? Have all split up
Yeah.
as
They all
well.
follow suit.
Yeah, they're all following suit. Oh yeah, you'll be all right, sister. It's like you'll be all right, sister. It's like you'll survive and everything. Good on you. And it's like, well, how do you know? The best thing might have been for that person to be with
That
that
they
in the
had that person
relationship, and
supporting them. Yeah.
it might be just at this point in time, which has happened with Elaine and I twice. This point in time, they need to be away from that other person, not
Mhm.
because that other person, but because of their own life.
Yeah.
A
Just to
lot of
kind of
people go through
recalibrate
this.
their. Yeah.
Yes, it's called It's the midlife crisis thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like when people take stock and begin to realise that they're not going round another time, and this is it. Just let me emphasise that, folks. This is it.
Now, you don't get a rerun.
Life is not a dress rehearsal. You're only getting one shot of this. You're no coming back for an encore. Once it's done, it's done. So you better make the most of it now. And I don't mean go out and get pissed every night
No.
and throw caution to the wind. What I mean is you better build something, especially if you've got children, especially if you've got somebody that relies on you, especially if you've got a partner or something like that. If you're the only person able to earn the income in your family, you've got a responsibility to make sure that everybody else is looked after when you leave.
Yeah, I think from building, say, a financial empire or financially secure, or even if it's to become a lot more healthy and fit and eat better, and a lot of people put all these things off, and one day you're going to think, God, why did I not do that? And like you say, Jim, that's not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a rerun. I mean, you really need to do these things now, because you will live to regret it, or you might regret it on your
You ever
deathbed.
heard yourself saying this? I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we've all
I'll
done it.
do
We've
it
all done it.
tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Do you know the thing is? Tomorrow doesn't come.
Yeah, there's no
You
guarantee.
need to do it today.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do it today. If you keep saying to yourself, you'll do it tomorrow, it's the manana thing. It's like it'll never get done. You have to do today. Do not put off what you could do today at the expense of what might be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if you do it today, you'll get the results a lot quicker. But you have to force yourself to do it sometimes. When you're just not feeling quite right, you're sitting on the couch, you've got a hangover from the night before.
Yeah.
It's just easy just to coast away. Do you know what I got? This is quite interesting. When I went into business for the first time, my mentor says to me, you know the great thing about being in business? You're your own boss. Do you know the worst thing about being in business?
You're your own boss.
You're your own boss. because you're, and what they meant by that, and I was like, what do you mean by that? What's that? Why do you say that? Well, it's because you're your own boss. You can decide if you want to get up and do something. You can decide if you want to do that job or no, that you need to do in order to earn that money. It's your choice. You've got no one that you're accountable to now because you no longer have your boss and you can go, yee! But guess what? Statistically, people that are self-employed earn 20% less than people that are employed.
Yeah, no, that's something that I was aware of, and
but I've got my freedom. They say I've got my freedom. I'm self-employed. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. I try going on holiday and having no income coming in because it's all reliant on you now. That's why we teach what we teach. So when you do go on holiday, then you don't need to worry about the income because it still comes in regardless.
I was just going to say, Jim, and that's what the Way of Creation show is all about. And like you say, obviously, in time, probably you're going to implement training and things as well. But it's all about developing the right mindset, and you could start really, really small if you want to be successful. You could start by just doing habit stacking on really small things day to day. Do you know, it doesn't have to be a big overnight change of your whole life and what you do. You could just start habit stacking and changing things and just better yourself incrementally, day on day, and anything that you do in your personal, professional life, whatever. And in time, you will see the positive results and the impact it has on the betterment of your life and the people around you, i.e. your family and your partner and whatever.
Well, you see me doing that right now with habit stacking.
Yeah.
It's, you know, every Monday morning I'm out running 5K. Yeah. Every Friday morning I'm out running 5K, regardless. I mean, I was out this morning running 5K. I was out in the ocean actually, swimming, open water swimming. I did 150 metres and I only got about 2 metres in the water. I've only got to do it 2 metres in the water. I did 150 metres on my watch, but I only got 2 metres in the water because it kept pushing me back.
But yeah, all those types of things, especially for a health perspective and things as well, put you in a better mindset in order to be able to perform better.
One of the most important things, Richard, is your health.
Yeah.
This is what's going to accelerate you to success. Instantly enough, I was speaking to Tom, who was down at the Lettons show we were at, the Lettons
Yeah.
training we were in London. And I spoke to Tom, and I says, "How are you this morning, Tom?" When he was at his breakfast, he went, "Oh, I've got a wee bit of fuzzy head." And immediately I said to him, "Oh, what happened?" He says, "Oh, I've just drank too much yesterday." And I went, "All right, are you up for today?" And he said to me, "Oh, geez," he says, "I've got a tough day today and I'm just going to have to soldier on through it." I went, "Yeah, that's great." I says, "Do you know that's why I gave up drinking?"
Yeah.
Because I knew straight away, and I said to him, I gave up drinking. The reason I gave up drinking, because I've had enough of it. It was holding me back all the time. My success was being held back because of this, and I wasn't going to compromise anymore because I really wanted to get to my goal quicker. And
Yeah.
I knew if I gave that up, I would actually get there a lot quicker because I'd be present all the time. I would no longer have to look at the amount of hangovers that I've had in the past. A Saturday morning, a Sunday morning, probably a Thursday
All that
morning.
time
No,
that you
well,
could have
Friday morning,
utilised.
Friday morning, Saturday morning. All this time is wasted. Compound all that time up, and you could have been productive and doing something else. And everybody goes, "Yeah, it was great fun." Aye, but it cost you a bloody fortune.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a price I'm willing to pay anymore. It's and the J curve, you know, the investment you do with doing that is it's just like the investment you put in the beginning and the results that come as a result of that after it.
Yeah.
It's exponential.
It was
So that's
amazing
why I
to
gave it up. Plus the fact is, remember, this is to carry this
this. Yeah.
about your brain. If you've not got your brain, that's you out of the game straight away. If you've not got your body, that's you out of the game straight away. It doesn't matter what you do. If you've not got any of this, you've had it. And this is probably one of the most important things you should look after. So just be careful what you're doing and what you're putting in your body. That is probably key now. Now, I've only learned that over years because it's like, who is he to preach? It's like I've been
Been
there,
there,
done
done
it.
that.
I
Yeah.
think I've got the film and the sequel and the pre-sequel and the prequel as well to that event. And I've also got the T-shirt and the video and the release on Netflix for that episode as well. Because I tell you, I was a go larger, go home.
Mhm.
It's like ultimate. Now I'm go larger, go home when it comes to business. That's the most important thing for me. That's where I'm go large and go home. I pivoted from my social life, in other words, getting out there and getting plastered every time and living for the weekend every time, because that's all I had going. I just had, I didn't see any opportunity. That's why I ended up doing that. And then stress management was another tool I did with alcohol as well.
Mhm.
Alcohol was used as stress management.
Yeah.
We all do it. Don't kid
Yeah.
yourself. The first thing you do when you're stressed is like, "Oh, I'm stressed. I need a glass of wine, or I
Yeah.
need a wee whiskey, or a wee nip, just to take the edge off." And it's like that is danger territory. You may think you can control it just now, and most people can. Hats off to you. But I'm not that type of person. I have what we call an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I just go all in and go for it. And as I said, it's go large or go home with me every single time. And there's no surprise in other things as well. Exactly why I excel in other areas, because I just go large or go home. There's no point in taking part for me personally. That's just for me. But other people, if they want, you know, some success, then just get on with it. It's better to have. You know what? It's better
Yeah.
to have 60% of something rather than 100% of nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And when you shoot for the stars, which you should be doing, by the way, no matter what you're doing, you should be shooting for the stars every single time, because if you don't hit the stars, you'll probably catch the moon on the way down.
On the way down. Yeah.
Whereas if you just go, tell you what, I'll just shoot for the moon. It's like, do you know the amount of effort once you get to the moon to try and shoot for the stars after that? It's like, just shoot for the stars and let natural momentum bring you back down to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had experience that kind of situation over the last few months in terms of what I've been trying to achieve, and it really is aim higher than where you want to be, and you will definitely get a good way along the journey a lot easier. But it's true what you say about alcohol, Jim, and people do use it, and it will resonate with a lot of people. And obviously, you don't drink, which is obviously something that you've implemented because you've been there, done that. And it's amazing, like what you say. We were down at that thing in London, and we were there to learn. We were there to do things, and the people that were on the course, But I mean, there was empty seats the next day because we knew we had them. They were out till 1 o'clock in the morning, coming into the
Yeah.
hotel and things. It's like, why waste all that opportunity? And it has wasted opportunity when you put it like that. But
Because someone else has probably paid for them and made them go on it.
yeah,
Or the point of readiness just isn't here. They're just at the point where they're just not sick and tired of being sick and tired yet.
yeah,
I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's ultimately it. I just
Yeah.
couldn't take anymore. I had to do something. I had to do something different. But it was a progression of doing something different each time. It wasn't an all-encompassing. Oh my God, I've seen the light. It wasn't a flash of light. Everything. I used to listen to speakers from the stage, and people used to talk about the fact that, oh, they were just speaking to me, and it was just, that's what changed my whole life, because this one person said this one thing, and it just changed everything for me overnight. Unfortunately, I never even got that.
Mhm.
I used to get really annoyed because it's like, are they speaking to me? When I heard the speaker on the stage, they must be speaking to me. Please speak to me. And I was waiting for this. Honestly, I was waiting for this bolt of lightning to come out of the sky and say, "It's you. It's your turn to be successful." Honestly, because that's how these seminars work. People say,
Yeah.
"Oh, they were speaking to me," and they're on stage, and it's like once in a blue moon, this person. But I was waiting for that to happen, that moment in time, and then I realised it's like, for God's sake, you've got to go and make it happen for yourself, Jim. You can't wait for it to happen. You've got to make it happen. But most people go through life wondering what the heck happened.
Yeah, and let life fly past them. Yeah, yeah. Gary's saying Ben and Jerry's for him when he's stressed. Same thing though, Gary. It's because it's the sugar as opposed to the alcohol. But anyway.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point. Unfortunately, you know, and I'm similar now and again. It's like, oh, sugar,
Yeah.
and everybody goes for it because sugar is a receptor which elevates the dopamine
Yeah.
in your mind and your brain, and the dopamine is the receptor which makes you really happy and high. So that's why you use sugar, because sugar is not a natural source, by the way. It's refined, remember, and
Sugar
it's more
cane, yeah.
addictive. It's more addictive to the body than cocaine. So it's more addictive to the body than cocaine. They've got scientific research to prove that, where they put rats in and they kept them on cocaine, the rats on cocaine for about 30 days, and that's all they gave them. And then they put the rats in a cage again, and then what they did was the same cage, and then they introduced sugar. And 29 of these rats immediately changed to sugar and never went near the cocaine after that.
Yeah, that's
That,
an amazing.
that's how addictive it is because what it does is the sweetness replicates fruit, because fruit's got vitamin C. So vitamin C is what our body needs for a healthy system, and because of that, the sugar replicates that same feeling. Therefore, your mind tells you to keep eating it, and your body tells you to keep eating it because it thinks it's getting vitamin C when it's not. And when it doesn't get vitamin C, oh, there's the first of the muscle cars. Dodge Viper. Superb. You missed it.
I just missed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're coming up in a Porsche, actually. There's a Porsche
I'll
park.
leave you. I'll leave you on the big screen.
Somebody got their Lamborghini Huracan towed away this morning by the police.
Really?
I've got it on the post on my timeline before this. And the police came over to me and I was about to say, "Why are you filming?" And I just ran away. Because she was coming over to me and just walking over to me, looking at me and went, "Hiya," and just turned tail and ran for it. Because it was only when I was out running they were taking it. Oh, and I've got a Mustang up here as well, a Ford Mustang.
Let
But
us see then.
there's some beautiful cars. A Magnum 440. It's like, wow. I'm no a car person, but I've got to admit, when you see them, you think to yourself, wow. What? Now, we talked about this before about cars, about people's passion. There's the Porsche there.
Yeah.
See? I think it's a Carrera. Or it's a 911, actually. A blue Porsche 911. Yeah. No, it's a GTS. GTS Porsche.
We'll see.
Superb.
Yeah.
Let's go. There's nobody on the road anyway. GTS.
I was just going. Yeah.
Beauty. Look at that thing. What a car. And that's just the valet parking. Aye, Carrera Ford GTS 911.
It's nice.
Unbelievable. So these guys are getting into a Mustang up here, up the back there.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a black Mustang. And what I was saying to Lane the other day, I says, oh, I could get a black Mustang and I could brand it.
I like to do that.
Could you, that's like, that'd be pretty neat. You know, a black Mustang with Fife Properties written on it. It's,
I do like the Mustangs. Yeah, they're nice.
it's a nice car. I mean, I didn't want to fiddle about with the camera because if I try to flick it round, it'll probably go off.
Yeah.
But it's a cracking car.
Yeah.
I like it. They've got a coupe, so they can take the soft top down.
Yeah,
Obviously, you do
soft
it
top.
here, but you would want a hard top back home.
Yeah, I never understand soft tops when you're back in Scotland. It's like for 2 weeks of the year. But
Yeah.
So
sorry, where were we?
God, I lost as well. Oh, we're talking about sugar.
Sugar, yeah. Another thing, you know, for your body and stuff like that. But we're getting near the end of time anyway. We've got 4 minutes left. So the key here is what have I learned out of this so far, or what I would be able to take out of this, is there's no one great thing that's going to make a fundamental difference to your success. It's just a combination of successive, gains.
Incremental changes.
Yeah, small wins, just small wins, incremental changes. There's no, for God's sake, do not, if you're out there, do not try to change everything overnight at once.
Yeah.
Just do one bit at a time. I know you're frustrated. I know you'll be frustrated, and you're really frustrated about the fact that how's it not happening so quick for me?
Yeah.
I used to be there. I was there. This is why it's important to have mentors, and why it's important to have people that have trodden this path already, so they can actually touch base with you, and you can touch base with them, and they can understand. They don't just empathize now, they can sympathize with your situation, but more importantly, they know the answer.
Yeah.
This is why we talk about the financial freedom blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of how we do things, in terms of how we teach people, in terms of what we teach people to do as investors. The financial freedom blueprint is literally the fast track to success. If you had a choice between a basic, Ford Mondeo, if they're still going, or Ford Fiesta, or a Ferrari, what one are you going to use? Now, let me just explain to you. A Ford Fiesta and a Ferrari are going to get you to the same destination if you start off, but one of them is going to get you a lot quicker. Now, you might actually have to invest a bit more, obviously, clearly, in buying a Ferrari.
Yeah.
The key here is, though, the investment return of getting there quicker would probably more than likely massively offset the fact that you've had to get a Ferrari to get there. Yeah. And this is what the importance of actually having the right system and the right people actually on your side, teaching you what you should be doing. And this is what we do every single time. I think because we're more or less saying to people, and I think it's because a lot of people actually just see us day to day, and they don't understand because, do you know the familiarity breeds contempt sort of thing?
Yeah.
That sort of phrase. I think that's what happens because I'm so open with people and I'm so, happy to share information and advice with people. They almost take it for granted, that information, but they don't realize I've actually just told you information that's probably worth thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
And I've just told you that just, for nothing.
And people have got this.
Yeah, because you get it for nothing, you just treat it as it's not that valuable.
Yeah, because people think it's going to have to be some big complex operation and things, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
That's the misconception.
This is what a lot of other people actually do. They make the system so difficult. When people see it, it's like upsells and this and upsells and that, and upselling something else. And you could go on this course, you can go on that course, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is simple. This is just a basic process. It works every single time. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You just keep duplicating it like McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, my mentors told me in the beginning, one of the biggest lessons I learned was they used to sit me down and go, look at McDonald's, Jim. You go into McDonald's anywhere in the world and it's exactly the same. The building's the same, the burger's the same, the way it's prepared is the same, the machine's the same, the staff the same, they all say the same thing. Because McDonald's worked out if they can mass scale what they're doing and they could duplicate it, then they could make an absolute fortune just by duplicating that in the franchise process. You know, that's the fundamental difference. That's what's important. And if you have a system that can create that, which is what the financial freedom blueprint is, then the world's your oyster. It is literally only a matter of time before you're standing here, before you're in Miami, before you're on Necker Island, before you're doing anything, before you're buying that dream car, before you're buying that big house, before you can do anything, before you've got all your family and everybody's looked after, and your relatives are looked after, your mum and dad's looked after, your brother and sisters are looked after, and anything you want to do is you're able to do because you now have the time. Yeah, you've got the money, but you've also got the most important thing, the time. I'm going to leave you with this. Look at this.
Let's see them.
Look at this. This is Miami Police Station.
Is that the police station?
Yeah. That's mental, eh?
Yeah.
That's the police station. My God. That's bigger than our theatres. You know, that's bigger than some of the theatres. That's bigger than the Dome, the Millennium Dome. It's like the O2. It's like, that's absolutely unbelievable. And that's the Miami Police Station.
That's crazy.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That is brilliant. That just opens your eyes into what is entirely possible, because we live in a society which is a small mindset sometimes. You know, the small pond scenario. You may be a big fish, but you're in a small pond. So all these people is like, look at me, look at me, look at me. But okay, jump into a bigger pond and then see how many people look at you.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, that's the thing. You know, you think you're that great now, jump into a bigger pond and see how great you are. And I'm all for jumping into bigger ponds. Hence the reason why I do all this.
Okay, but it pushes you outside your comfort zone and to do more.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really sure if this is pushing me out of my comfort zone.
No, but I mean jumping into a bigger pond. No.
But if it is, I'll be happily pushed out of my comfort zone every single day.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Jim. Well, I'm going to bring it to an end here because obviously we're just past the hour, and obviously I'm conscious of time. And thank you for obviously jumping on and giving us a tour of Miami, and obviously doing the insights that you've given us today. Thanks to everybody that's been watching and commenting. Obviously, I didn't want to go through comments and things too much when we were on this, because obviously we're trying to keep the conversation. But just before we finish up, Jim, you're not entirely sure what day, but I'm sure it's Saturday. You're hitting Necker Island. I think if everybody is interested in Jim's journey, then follow him on socials. You were keeping it quite interactive since you've got there, Jim. So you could jump on the socials and keep up with Jim. You could also watch back our shows. I did say about obviously Jim's story in our mini series within this Wealth Creation Show. The YouTube channel, Wealth Creation Show, is a YouTube channel on its own. Please jump on that and have a watch back our shows if you wish
subscribe to the channel. That's the most important point.
Yeah,
subscribe to the channel, because the bigger the channel gets, the more important things we'll talk about. The bigger things we'll be able to teach. Maybe we might actually get more. Maybe we might actually start getting guests on. You know, there's because they all work on, you know, the bigger picture. If they see a lot of followers and they go, I'll come on your show, and then that's fine. We can get them on the show. More importantly, Necker Island next week. I'll be live on the Necker Island. I might probably be on the beach. Depends if I can get a Wi-Fi signal on the beach, but I know they give Wi-Fi, so I might just be in the Great House for most of the time.
We'll test it. We'll test it so you guys get the best experience when we come on next week. And that's next Monday, 12:30. We'll be live as usual, and Jim will be on Necker Island. So I'm looking forward to that, as I'm sure a lot of regulars will be as well. But yeah, the more you guys watch and build this up, the more we could maybe expand it and take it outside just Jim and I. And
who knows where it's going to end? You know, who knows where it's going to take us? I think is the most important point, because I think it could go further on than that. Yeah, good. We'll leave it there then. Absolutely. Right, folks. See you later.
Right. I'm off
to the cruise at the Bahamas. Remember, it's Monday morning. You don't need to be at your work. We could teach you how to get out of that, and it's the Financial Freedom Blueprint. That's the most important thing you ever need to know. You just need to get in touch with Richard, and we'll get your journey started from there. And who knows, in the years to come, you could be lying on the beaches of the world with us as well.
Definitely. Right, Jim, thanks for that. I'll let you go. Thanks, everyone. Bye.